Hello class, welcome back to StudyWave Academy, where education is without limits. Let's continue looking at our parts of speech, what we are discussing today. Welcome back to our English class, and let's continue discussing the parts of speech. So right now we've looked at what parts of speech are. We've looked at the first example, and those were the nouns. So just to end on that, in 9th grade, we expected to build on our prior knowledge of nouns and delve into more complex aspects of noun usage, which are essential for in this case, for your overall understanding of English, grammar, and composition. So we noticed that in grade 7, we have a lot of writing to do. So that's why we remind ourselves about these nouns, because we want to be better speakers, better writers, or not even better, we want to be the best speakers and the best writers. So that is why we delve into more complex aspects of the noun usage. So that's why you find me talking about the noun clauses, talking about appositives, talking about the noun phrases. All of this is what we have to know in our level. So after looking at the nouns, I will now look at what we call pronouns again. So here it's just to remind ourselves again, because we've done this in our classes and in our past classes too, okay? So here it's just to add to what we already know. So pronouns. Pronouns here are a category of words in English that are used to replace nouns to avoid repetition. So already discussed this when we were beginning the topic. And I said that pronouns are just used to replace nouns to avoid repetition. I gave an example, like instead of saying my mother is a doctor, my mother traveled to the US, my mother is the best. You realize I keep on repeating my mother, my mother. So to avoid this repetition, we use pronouns that are used in place of these nouns. So I'll say something like my mother is a teacher, she traveled to the US, and she is the best. Look at that. The sentence looks simple, easy to understand, and very nice to listen to. Instead of a situation where I keep repeating myself, I keep repeating my words, okay? So that's why pronouns are important. So now let's look at the types of pronouns. So we're looking at the types of pronouns. So let me try just widen our view here. I want us to see this properly. So there. So now we're looking at pronouns. Now pronouns, we have the first example here, and that is the personal pronouns. So with personal pronouns, they represent specific people or specific things. So for example, we have I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So these are the specific personal pronouns that we're talking about. And we use them. I know even when we're talking, or you're talking to your friend or your partner, who is sitting next to you, we use these personal pronouns. So in 9th grade, we must explore more complex usage of these nouns, such as reflexive nouns. And I remember I've already talked about reflexive nouns. I know we know what reflexive nouns are, okay? So such reflexive nouns, for example, myself, yourself. So these are nouns that show an action has been done by a person, like it has been done by you and no one else has helped you. So reflexive nouns like myself, yourself, themselves, or himself, okay? These are nouns that show an action has been done by the subject all by themselves. No one else has helped them. So those are called the reflexive pronouns, okay? So that's the first example, the personal pronouns. Next, we have possessive pronouns. Again, possessive pronouns just show ownership or possession. They show who owns something, or who owns something, or what belongs to someone, okay? So we have common possessive pronouns that the examples here are like mine, yours, his, hers, its, ours, and theirs, okay? So here these are pronouns that are used to show ownership. So for example, this book is hers, okay? This pencil was mine, okay? This bag is yours. So these pronouns here, even from my sentences, you realize that they show ownership. Like the bag is yours, this pen is mine. So it shows who an object belongs to. Okay, so that those are what we call possessive pronouns. Don't forget about that. Okay, then next we have something we call the demonstrative pronouns. So class, if you notice, I talked about this in our earlier classes, okay, in our past classes. So right now I believe we are just reminding ourselves, and if the case is you have not heard some of what we're talking about, because I believe you can't be 100% blank on this topic, the parts of speech. So if you are somehow not aware or not informed about what we're talking about, you can as well go back to our past classes, our past teachings, and go through again what we've learned. Listen to the readings again, do the activities there, and just learn, and then come back and now concentrate on what we're doing now. Okay, so that's another possibility. Another one is to try remind yourself of if you're forgotten, because here the main lesson here is to just remind ourselves about these parts of speech and their categories. So right now with the demonstrative pronouns, again, they're just pronouns that show where something is in relation to the distance. Okay, so for example, this is my book, that is your pen, these are my shoes, those are your shoes. So these are pronouns that show how far something is relative to distance. Okay, so how far something is, and here we should understand these pronouns to clarify like what we are referring to. So for example, you're telling someone about your shoes, you be specific, this is my shoes. Okay, so you're pointing at the shoes, and this means the shoes is close to you, so you're pointing at the shoes and telling someone this is my shoes. Okay, and if it's far, you say that is my shoes, or if they're many or in plural, you say those are my shoes, or if they are close to you and they're many, you say these are my shoes. So those are the demonstrative pronouns. They just show the distance, or sorry, they show the relative or how far an object is from the user depending on the distance. Okay, so those are the demonstrative pronouns. Then we move to the next part of what we call the relative pronouns. Now these relative pronouns introduce relative clauses. Okay, so here these are pronouns like who, which, that. So these pronouns introduce clauses, and for example, I'll give an example, like this is the girl who stole my pencil. Okay, this is the food which goes bad when you store badly. Okay, this is the friend that I was talking about. So it's introducing a relative clause here. So for example, when you say this is the person who helped me yesterday, so this is the person, then who helped me yesterday. Helped me yesterday is another phrase. So when you want to introduce this second part, you use these relative pronouns. Okay, so get my example. So for example, this is the person who helped me yesterday, so it's introducing a second clause there. Okay, this is the food which goes bad when you store badly. Okay, this is the song that I was singing yesterday. Look at that. So you notice this relative pronouns introduce another clause or a relative clause. Okay, then now we have what we call interrogative pronouns. I know we know this already too. When you talk about interrogative, even from the word, it means questions or asking questions. So interrogative pronouns interrogative pronouns are used to ask questions, and we have examples like who, what, which, where. So for example, who is this, or who is the person who are, okay, let me give you the best sentences. So maybe, who carried my bag for me? What color is this? Which school is this? Or what is the name of this school? So you notice these are interrogative pronouns. They're used to ask questions, and this is quite simple because we know about them. Okay, so we have interrogative pronouns used to ask questions like who, what, which. Okay, next we have indefinite pronouns. Now with the indefinite pronouns, these are pronouns that are not specific. They do not refer to any specific thing or person or place. Okay, so we have examples like nothing, everyone, anyone, somebody. So you notice that these pronouns do not specify on what someone wants. Okay, so for example, let me give you a good example here. So I will give an example. So let me give an example here. The teacher wants to see everyone. The teacher wants to see everyone. So we don't know who this everyone is. Does the teacher wants to see all the grade 9 students, or does she wants to see all the grade 8 students, or does she wants to see all the school students, everyone in the school? So you notice that this is not specific. Or for example, somebody stole my pen, or somebody ate my food. This is a very generic questions, or very it's general. Okay, so we don't know who ate the food. You just think somebody. We don't know if it's your cat or your pet or your friend. We don't know who ate your food. So these indefinite pronouns just show that something ain't specific. So it can be something, it can be people. Okay, or when I give an example like the teacher wants anyone to take over the class because maybe they're absent, or they're off, or they have something to attend to. So anyone can mean anyone. We don't know if it's the prefect, the class prefect, or just anyone from the class. So that is also being very not very specific. So those are what indefinite pronouns are. Okay, now the next one we have is reciprocal pronouns. So class, all this I've talked about, and here I expect us to be very sharp and very clear on understanding what we're talking about, because I believe these topics here, most of them we've talked about, and most of them we know what they are. So when we talk about reciprocal pronouns, these are pronouns, for example, each other, one another. Even from the word reciprocal, it means that when an action is done to them, the action is done, it's reversed. Okay, so if I help you, help me. If I do this to you, you do the same to me. If I hug you, you hug me back. So for example, they hugged each other. So you notice this is a reciprocal pronoun, because the other one hugged the other one, and the other one hugged the other one back. It's a very funny example, but that's how it works. Or one another here, they love one another. Okay, maybe the mother and the child here love one another. So the mother loves the child and the child loves the mother. So these are called reciprocal pronouns. An action is being done, or two or more people are acting on each other. Okay, so we must learn about these two, and it's very important we understand it. Then the next example, we have intensive pronouns. Now with the intensive pronouns, we have examples like myself, yourself, and these pronouns emphasize on the noun or the preceding noun, or the noun in the sentence. Okay, so it's more of emphasizing on something. So for example, I cooked this meal myself, or you wrote the whole book yourself. You notice that I'm emphasizing on the noun doing the specific action by itself. Okay, so these are called intensive pronouns. Okay, or we can also call them reflexive pronouns. Sometimes we call them reflexive pronouns, but right now we'll call them intensive pronouns. They just emphasize about a noun or a preceding noun or a pronoun in a sentence. Okay, she ate the food all by herself, or she ate the food all by herself. Okay, so it means that this food, she ate this food all by herself. She didn't tell anyone to help her eat, or okay, she did the entire action all by herself. So this is what we call intensive pronoun. Okay, then let's move to the next one, which we will call relative clauses. Now students may study how to create and use relative clauses, which are introduced by relative pronouns. Okay, they involve in understanding how to use pronouns like who or which to give more information about a noun in a sentence. So I gave you examples of these sentences. For example, this is the girl who helped me yesterday. So you notice the who that comes in the second part of the sentence gives more information about the noun. So you have a girl here. This is the girl, but what did the girl do? She helped you yesterday. So this is the girl who helped me yesterday. So you notice that this is a relative clause. The second part, who helped me yesterday, is the clause. Okay, so the who here is a relative pronoun that just adds more information about the noun. Which, okay, this is the song or this is the food which go bad when you store badly. Okay, so you notice there is more information about the food